Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Friday night, and we are nearing the birthday of our country, July 4th. And what better way to honor our country's birthday than to partake in some gaming based around one of the most patriotic genres out there? What am I talking about? Professional wrestling. Whether it's Hulk Hogan, Mr. America, Kurt Angle, The Patriot. I mean, there's a whole list of wrestlers that have cool patriotic gimmicks because professional wrestling really is about the common man and his ideals, right? And at its best, that's what America is about, right? The common person, that all people have a right to have their voice heard because we are all created equal. And yeah, that's what it's about. So, actually, we have Sting in the background there. Now, I'm not saying we're just going to limit this stream to playing Diego. Yeah. I'm not saying we're just going to limit this stream to playing wrestling games, but the focus, at least initially, is going to be N64 wrestling games. And I actually do have a lot of N64 wrestling games. Now, out of my N64 wrestling games, the ones that I have played by far the most are WCW versus NWO World Tour and WCW versus NWO Revenge. Those are my two favorite games, probably on the Nintendo 64, but I do also have the Aki Asmic WWF wrestling games, No Mercy, and the one that I actually prefer more on the WWF side is WrestleMania 2000, because I just like the aesthetic of WrestleMania 2000 better than No Mercy. But No Mercy is the one that's like universally praised. But I also do have some kind of crappy wrestling games on the N64, and I thought it might be fun for us to check those out. This right here is probably I would never sell this game. It's kind of interesting because it's in a blue cartridge, but this is one of the worst video games ever. Because, okay, the PlayStation version of this game actually had some cool full motion video of WCW in 2000, 2001, like the Vince Russo era WCW, which I actually think is really underrated. Isn't wrestling the greatest sport? I love pro wrestling. You know what I'm actually kind of PO'd about, though, is just how horrible WWF has gotten. Like, I don't even watch it, but not that I have, like, if someone asked me to go, like, to a WWF show or something like that, I would happily go, but I just have no interest in the WWF product now. AEW, on the other hand, I watch religiously every week, and I think AEW, despite the fact that its ratings are, a fraction of what Nitro had, and even right now a fraction of what TNA in its heyday had, is some of the best wrestling that I've ever watched, and I really enjoy it. And I feel like a kid again hearing Tony Schiavone call commentary, seeing Chris Jericho back on Turner Television. So it really is a great successor to WCW and puts out a lot of great stuff. Highly entertaining, exciting, and funny wrestling. And now, is it like the best ever? No, but it's still darn good, and it's my favorite show to watch. So I haven't watched WWF in months, but I watch AEW every week, and it's actually one of the reasons I have cable. So yes, but I do love professional wrestling. I love the characters. I love the comedy. I love the drama. I love the suspension of reality. I love the athleticism. I love the fact that it seeks to really engage viewers' aspirations and fears. So it's really good. Totally agree with you. WWE sucks now, just like today's new movies and music. Yeah, I honestly, the last good movies I've seen, and I don't get to see a lot of them, because of Renee and Santino, my wife and son. I'm always just busy doing home stuff and childcare, which is great. It's not a bad thing. but I would say the last two really good movies I saw were Knives Out and Sonic. So Sonic, the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie is phenomenal, and Knives Out is very much told in the story of the style of a story like Columbo. And if you know me, you know that I love my Columbo right here. I have the Columbo box set next to the Rocky box set. How about that? So yes, I'm a big fan of those two movies. But you're right. I think a lot of the movies nowadays, like, I hear about them and they sound terrible. Like, I heard the new Terminator, they like kill John Connor and it's really stupid, and they kind of like, I don't know, it just seemed like really dumb. Like, I don't know. So it does seem like a lot of the movies that are out now are out of touch, I guess, with what the people like. But Sonic and Knives Out, those are some great movies. So I highly recommend checking those out. You could actually check them out now on demand. So it's good stuff. I'm trying to think if there's any good like wrestling style movies. Rogue Drums, how's it going, man? We're gonna be playing some wrestling games tonight. Not gonna limit ourselves to wrestling games, but we're gonna start off with those and see where it leads. Old movies and documentaries and foreign films. That's a safe bet right there. But I do recommend you watch Sonic. I think that is a funny movie. And the computer, yes, new glasses. I am addicted to Zenni glasses, and I got 2 new pairs in the mail today. I'll show you the other pair I got. I actually really like this pair. I like both pairs. I'm a big fan. Arrow, how's it going? I'm just chatting with Rogue Drums and Diego, talking a little bit about pro wrestling and what I like about it, and how I'm kind of I don't watch WWF right now because I think it's really unentertaining, but I'm a huge fan of AEW, and I never miss an episode of AEW, and I'm a big fan of WCW Turner Wrestling, so I'm super happy to see wrestling back on TNT. Never miss an episode of AEW. So we're going to start off at least playing some N64 wrestling games, but Rogue Drums actually commented that I do have new glasses, and I'm telling him that I'm kind of addicted to Zenni glasses right here. So I have lots of different pairs of Zennis, and I'm trying to think. I got 2 pairs in the mail today, so I'll show these off. Let's see. Is this the other pair here? Nope. Okay, so this is another pair that I have. So this right here is like, these are like the Noam Chomsky 1960s glasses, so they're super cool. These are like the cool rose gold, not rose gold, like just regular gold aviators. And then I can't find where my other pair is, but I have like a pair of black 80s style aviators. I am a huge fan of the 1980s, 1990s swag. So I'll if I find those glasses, I'll pop them on. In the bathroom here? No, they're not in the bathroom. All right, let's just play some wrestling. We'll find those glasses eventually. So. All right, thank you. Thank you for enjoying the glasses. All right. Yeah, I'm someone who I'm not. My eyes aren't really that bad. I mean, I legit need glasses because I'm nearsighted, but I also just like how glasses look. And now that I have access to Zenni glasses, now that I have my prescription, I can just go online. They have really cool frames, and they're not expensive either. So, you know, I got 2 pairs of glasses for like probably like $55, you know. And they're like really cool designer style frames. So, all right, we're gonna start off playing some WCW versus NWO Revenge. This is my probably favorite game in terms of wrestling gameplay, and I also really love the create a costume, you trade your stable costume mode here. Because you can actually make a lot of really fun stories with that. The creative player in these Aki Asmic wrestling games get very in-depth once you kind of shift to the WWF games, and that's cool if you're into that. But for me, I just really want to focus on playing the games. So to me, this was like kind of like a nice streamlined way to be creative and stay focused on the game and focused on the style. I'm sorry your eyes aren't very good. My wife's eyes are also not good. Like she really can't see without glasses. Like if I take my glasses off, stuff just looks like a TV show from 1987, which is great. I don't mind that. But anyway, let's get down to playing some WCW versus NWO Revenge on the N64. All right. I actually don't like this camera stand that I'm using, guys. I actually normally use my little Neo Geo box, but we're actually using that camera stand because of the other live stream we did. So sorry for the abrupt shift, but this is going to be a little bit lower. So are we a bit ghetto with how we do our live streams? Yes, but that's all part of the charm, right? We keep it real. In this time of focusing on the people, we definitely are all about keeping it real. All right, here we go. This will be better. See, it's already better. All right, I'm gonna hit the lights. Okay. Do you have prescriptions? Yes, I do have a prescription. I can tell you my prescription right now. It's 70 pupillary distance and the negative 1.5 for both 1.50 for both eyes. It's a pretty easy prescription. So, the cool thing about this game, and also WrestleMania 2000, is they started off by really kind of setting the stage for the story of when the game takes place. So at this time, it was 1998, and WCW's big storyline was that the NWO had split in half, and that you had the NWO Black and White, which was the one I liked, led by Hollywood Hogan, and then you had the NWO Wolfpack, led by Kevin Nash. Now, eventually, the way that story resolved itself was actually pretty cool, because neither side could win, and Nash ended up being the heavyweight champ. So what ended up happening was Hulk joined the Wolfpack and Nash gave him the heavyweight belt, but Nash pretty much got to be the leader of the group. So that was actually a pretty cool way that they did it. Although they didn't really emphasize that resolution that much. At this point in time, WCW was still the #1 wrestling company, but WWF was definitely gaining a ton of momentum. And this is actually a really good time to be a wrestling fan, because the wrestling on both shows was just insanely entertaining. WCW always had much better quality. So you just put your prescription in the order. Yes. Yep. The fitting, they do have measurements to tell you what the glasses are like. For me personally, the fitting was a little bit of a learning experience, because I bought a couple glasses that I thought looked cool, like right off the bat, and they were a little, sorry, I didn't mean to jiggle the camera. They were a little off in the sizing. You can do some minor adjustments yourself, which is a little risky, and you can also just take them to any eyeglasses place and they'll adjust them for you. But if the fit in your face really are a little bit off, then it is what it is. But they'll say right there, small, medium, large glasses. So if large glasses fit your face better, or you're looking for something bigger, go with the large. If you're looking for something a little more tight, go with the medium. If you've got a smaller face and you don't want it like falling off your face, go with the small. They kind of tell you, what the glasses are, ballpark wise. And then, I guess you could measure your face with a ruler or something. I don't know. So yeah, that's how it goes. Zenny is the company. My coworker, who now doesn't work with me anymore, I said she had cool glasses one day. She's like, "Oh, I got them at Zenny," and I'm like, "What's Zenny?" And she told me, and I just got my prescription, and yeah, good stuff. And now I order a lot of them. So anyway, WCW. I think the biggest problem with WCW ended up being that Eric Bischoff lost creative. His focus on creativity was derailed, I think, by a lot of the backstage shenanigans, both intern or corporate, and then also it seems like a bit of a teacher that lost control of the classroom. You know, the students kind of stopped respecting him. He was getting stressed out. If he could maintain order, he definitely, I think, was dealing with things that were taking his mind off of wrestling, and all the brilliance that had been, structured in WCW. All the ingredients were still there, and the show, in my opinion, was still the best wrestling in the world. But definitely, there was no real, I think, emphasis on how to tell good stories. At a certain point, I think they just started thinking more week to week rather than having a kind of an end point in mind or goalposts in mind, and working toward those and kind of framing stories around those. So, for example, once Hogan rejoined the Wolfpack, that was a cool story. But then they ended up turning Hulk into a good guy, which was cool, but then that kind of threw the Wolfpack thing into disarray. And the thing is, Hulk was getting over as Hollywood Hogan, so you could have still had a good NWO Hulk. I don't know. It just got kind of odd. And then the thing with the Millionaires Club was great when Russo and Bischoff teamed up. But then that just abruptly ended within a month. So it was just awkward booking in terms of its creative. But I still love WCW more than any other wrestling company. Well, let's do an exhibition match. We'll do let's start off with a single match, and we're gonna do Monday Nitro, the greatest show ever. One player versus CPU, and now. The cool thing about this game is that my best friend and I used to play the crap out of this, and we made a whole story up about how Larry Zbyszko became this evil tyrant and kidnapped Hulk Hogan's daughter. That prompted Hulk Hogan to turn back into the good Hulk Hogan, and then all the NWO guys ended up like re-embracing their over-the-top like WWF 80s personas, and we're still all Hulk's buddies. And then the kind of annoying good guys that we didn't like, they all ended up being Zbyszko's henchmen. So we had a lot of fun with it. So we're going to be my favorite wrestler here. I have the Thunder in Paradise Hulk Hogan here. We can do that. Let's be Thunder in Paradise Hulk. It's the major. And we're going to have him fight Bret Hart, because that actually is one of my all-time favorite matches. Hulk Hogan. I have the NWO Bret Hart here. They did have Bret Hart lead NWO 2000, which was kind of cool, but then he got injured, and that really screwed things up. If WCW had booked Bret Hart properly when he came over, WWF would definitely be the number 2 wrestling company in the world. Maybe be stuck being a small regional company. But, I don't know. They just did not capitalize on all that insanely, the best creative in history and the hottest wrestler at the time coming over. They didn't capitalize on it, and they kind of busted Bret Hart down to the mid-card. And, they just, again, that goes again. They just didn't have creative focus because of all the crap that was going on backstage. And definitely a lot of political kind of shenanigans and rivalries. It's too bad. But Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart did have a great WCW Nitro match. So I wish, and I know that Hulk and Bret Hart were leading up to having a match when Hulk was a good guy, and I believe they did have some matches at house shows as well, and there was going to be kind of a face versus face thing, but Sadly, Bret Hart got that concussion from Goldberg, and that just screwed everything up. Alright, this is WCW Python Power. I used to watch Thunder in Paradise every Sunday morning before Baywatch, and it's great stuff. No, correct me if I'm wrong. No, wait. American Gladiators, Thunder in Paradise, Baywatch? I think that's how it went. And then Rick Springfield had a show where he was some undercover cop. Some beach cop or something. And Pee Wee Anderson. So both Hulk and Bret are in their full early 90s personas right here. Now, if you watch Hulk Hogan's match against Bret Hart, Hulk wrestles him like he wrestled Great Muta in his Japanese style, which is actually really good. Hulk can get technical if he wants. I mean, he's not as good as Bret Hart when it comes to technical wrestling, but Hulk definitely, he knows his stuff. He didn't, I hate the stupid stereotype of, oh, Hulk can't wrestle, all he does is cup his ear, and he's a hack, and he's a politician, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Hulk, is he a politician? Yes. But Hulk is also a very good professional wrestler, both in terms of his technique, which is adequate and above average, and then everything else about him, his ring presence, the way he sells and executes his moves. He's just literally the greatest of all time as far as I'm concerned. Pee Wee Anderson, and we already have, wow, so we submitted Bret Hart. It was quick right there. That match definitely did not live up to the hype. Hulk should not have been worried about, man, he didn't even put his knee through Bret Hart's chest. This is some Mortal Kombat quality stuff here. Hulk should not have worried about losing to Bret Hart and instead dropping the belt to Yokozuna, because, man, that was absolute domination right there. Yokozuna, man, it's too bad Yokozuna never came to WCW. I guess there was a big possibility that he was going to come to WCW, but I don't know. He just didn't do it. Which would have been cool. They could have put him in the NWO. Have him and Hulk fight again. Let's go to Sold Out. I'm actually a big fan of the first NWO Sold Out pay-per-view. We're going to be Hollywood Hogan this time. And this is NWO Wolfpack right here. We can do the American flag Lex Luger. The Lex Express. Wolfpack Sting. TNA Sting. WCW Sting. NWO Sting. So this guy here could be the fake Sting here. But why don't we actually do something cool? We'll have Hulk Hogan and Scott Hall. It's actually a pretty cool team. And we'll have them fight. We can have them fight Chris Benoit. Yeah, he's taboo now. Who do you want to have him fight? Ming? Glacier? British Bulldog? Neidhart? Baron Zbyszko. There he is. Okay, so this is the evil M. Bison style Larry Zbyszko. Ninja Zbyszko. Okay, so Baron Zbyszko. And he will be accompanied by Das Wunderkind Alex Wright. Alright. I'm actually a big Alex Wright fan. Now, the only downside to WCW versus NWO Revenge is the fact that the music was nothing stellar. Like, if you listen to the soundtrack to WCW versus NWO World Tour, aka Virtual Pro Wrestling, man, I could just pop that in my CD player and jam out to it. This right here, the music's so-so, you know? Alright. Yeah, look at Alex ready to go. Bum, 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 bum. I remember they even made a music video of Alex, like for Alex Wright, because like his whole thing was he was this like German techno dancer kid with a positive attitude, and he went undefeated for a long time. I think the guy who finally beat him was Arn Anderson. But yeah, Alex Wright, I was a fan of his, still am. Hogan is going right after his his eternal nemesis, Baron Zbyszko, right here, who you know, on a North Korean tour came across a possessed eagle's head, a gold eagle's head, which filled him with the you know, villainous ancient spirit of some ancient evil bad guy, turning him from the annoying Larry Zbyszko into the tyrant Baron Zbyszko. What is a OFC? I'm looking at the comments here. Rogue Drums is like, some OFC. X-Bomber. Now, the cool thing about this, kind of the strange thing about these games here is Hulk Hogan's leg drop is present, but it's not his finish move. Because these games are Japanese games, and Hulk Hogan's big finish move in Japan is a running lariat that is called the X-Bomber. So that is actually much more emphasized with Hulk Hogan than the leg drop. Hulk Hogan did knock out Antonio Inoki with that move to become the first IWGP champ. It's another thing about all these like Meltzer people. You know, like Dave Meltzer's almost like always like how he loves Japanese wrestling. Oh, do you hear the fireworks at all? I thought I did hear some fireworks. Dave Meltzer's always like saying how he loves Japanese wrestling, and Hulk Hogan is wildly popular in Japan because he started his career in Japanese wrestling. He was Ichiban. He had an album out there in the early 80s. Like, again, if you watch that Muda match he did, and the crowd is going nuts for him. He had a great match against Masahiro Chono in 2003 as well. That almost led to him coming to TNA. But, you know, Vince McMahon basically got kind of scared and apparently offered Hulk Hogan a dump truck full of money to come back, so. But Hulk did eventually make the jump to TNA. Nice. Yeah, I don't hear the fireworks myself. I'm on the east side, so. But I also have a subwoofer going here, so it's nothing too loud, but it might be interfering with the fireworks. I heard they're like doing the fireworks at an undisclosed location because they don't want to break social distancing rules. Which is good, you know. Oh, now I'm starting to hear them. So, if we just move the analog stick and grapple, we do a special move. And it's weird, because at the time, somewhere in East Homer, gotcha. Around this time, Ric Flair and WCW were on the outs. So they gave Hulk Hogan Ric Flair's finish move here. Like his villain shtick. Leg drop. Yeah, Scott Hall almost got the win there. Love how Hulk always has those big winding punches. The Zbyszko is about ready to go down here. There we go. My dogs are barking at them. Dogs hate fireworks. So, Ichiban and Scott Hall win. Now, the other cool thing about this game is they had a really cool Battle Royal Rumble feature as well. So we'll do that, and then we'll switch games. Special match. Battle Royal. We'll do the Bash at the Beach, which is still a thing thanks to AEW. Cody Rhodes actually bought the trademark to Bash at the Beach. So Bash at the Beach is still present on Turner Wrestling. Let's do 8-man. And we'll do random. We're going to keep being Hulk Hogan. Let's do Wolfpack Hulk here. And we'll have Wolfpack Sting. And the Lex Express. And Goldberg. And take it from there. That's right. Wolfpack is back and causing mass destruction. Guess who's here? The bad boys of wrestling. Now, the thing that always bothered me is that people would complain that, oh, the NWO had too many people in it. It should have just had 5 people in it. No, that is the stupidest crap. The NWO was supposed to be its own wrestling company. It's supposed to be its own wrestling organization, okay? So, what that means is that they need to have the equivalent of a wrestling organization's amount of members in it, okay? So all this crap about, oh, the NWO got watered down, everyone was in the NWO. Yeah, because the NWO was supposed to be a popular wrestling company. So anyway, and it wasn't supposed to be a popular wrestling company. It was a popular wrestling company. It was more WWF than the WWF. Which is incidentally how Vince drove AEW out of business. So I don't know about Arrow and Diego, but we got some fireworks going on in the Crown City here. All right, we're gonna get right to the match here. Sting starting with the ball bat here. So here, our goal is just quite simply get our opponent knocked out of the ring. And here comes the Giant. We can't get knocked out of the ring, though. Letting the Giant go to WWF was really stupid. The other thing that really hurt WCW is they had the best roster on the planet. And letting so much of that roster go to WWF, even if, you know, it was considered, they were considered to be mid-card, you know, it was horrible because at a certain point, they really lacked the torso of their structure, so to speak. Whoa, crap! I'm out of the ring. No, Hulk, get in there. Okay. They lacked. I don't want to say the foundation, but they lost literally a huge part of the structure of their formula. And then all of a sudden, those wrestlers were at the disposal of Vince McMahon. Here comes Nash. Some people set off fireworks here early. Cool. I'm gonna get the Giant out of the ring here. Sorry, G-Money. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Raven is a smart guy, kind of a funny guy. Kevin Nash is a smart guy, but he's not anywhere nearly as smart as he thinks he is. Like, I follow Kevin Nash on Twitter, and like he's acting like he was this expert on race relations because he saw a documentary about Ulysses S. Grant. It's like, dude, like, just stop, please. It's like, I know Nash is from Detroit and has dealt with a lot of like stuff, but the fact that he's like kind of talking down to people, it's like, oh, I saw a 3-part documentary. It's like, wow, good for you, man. It's like, so does so did a lot of people who have access to cable. That doesn't make you some kind of grand expert here. But Nash is one of my all-time favorite professional wrestlers. He's extremely entertaining, got a great presence. You know, there's no NWO without Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, and Scott Hall. And Kevin Nash is one of those guys that can do a lot with a little, which is really good. Giant is the Big Show. Yes, he is. So, I told you guys there's the Big Show's Instagram got pretty much co-opted by some like scammers, and I ended up being in conversation with them for a while, and then I put him on blast. It was an interesting situation. I mean, I knew it was a scam, but at the same time, I was like, if there's any chance that this is real, I don't want to waste it. Like, if I am actually talking to the Big Show. But then, you know, once they say, go to this PayPal account and give $200 to this, you know, Russian bank, it's like, you can't possibly be that stupid, kid. And then, so when I was putting them on blast on the actual Big Show, because then I was like talking to them about, they tried to start commenting on the Big Show's wall again, and I started saying stuff. And then they're like, no, man, it's not a scam. That's really the registration fee. It's like, there's nothing anywhere about the WWE having a $200 registration fee in a Russian bank. So, good time was had by all. But if you want to hear that whole exciting story, go check it out on the YouTube channel. Should be in the blog section there. In the Goldberg. Turn around, Hulk. You gotta turn your back to Goldberg here. He has 2 moves, and he's full of energy. Goldberg, really good performer, took himself way too seriously, and I did not really like him when he was undefeated, but I did actually like him once he and Hulk started teaming together. And I do have a lot of respect for Goldberg, just as being someone who's such a huge part of WCW. And we win! Alright. So, there we have it, guys. That is WCW versus NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64. Fantastic game. Now, some people will say that the WWF was the better product than WCW, and I don't agree with that at all. I think the WWF, during the Vince Russo Attitude Era, was definitely highly entertaining television, but I thought it lacked the substance. WCW, a lot of the Attitude Era stuff, it depended a lot on shock value, a lot of Jerry Springer-esque stuff. Was it entertaining? Yes. Was it funny? Yes. Did they have cool matches? Yes. Were the wrestlers, at least early going, all on the same page because they wanted to defeat WCW? Yes. Was it a better product than WCW? Not in my opinion. WCW was always the standard programming, so I'd always start on Nitro, keep on Nitro, and then if there was a lull in Nitro, or it would turn to 9 o'clock, me and my friends would turn to WWF, see what was going on there. Then once WWF hit commercial, go back to WCW, and then just kind of keep in mind when, like the main event of WWF would be, and kind of check back and see if it was anything significant, or if some, crazy thing was happening on WWF, like, oh, there's a naked girl on WWF, let's turn the channel, but but WCW definitely had the better writing, the better roster, and I think the better matches. WWF was just very good at a certain point, kind of copying the WCW, NWO, ECW formulas, and then Vince McMahon doing his kind of hokey, boisterous promotion was really able to really get the WWF going, and also his rapport with Vince Russo, they worked really well together, in my opinion. Bischoff and Russo, I think, with the Millionaires Club storyline was really, really, really good, and then they just couldn't get along. And at the end of the day, I think Vince Russo needs an editor, and I think that Eric Bischoff is extremely intelligent, but he doesn't always realize how he does the good things that he does, and he doesn't always realize the bad things that he does either. He's kind of like a smart guy who gets things, but he doesn't really understand the depth of things, in my opinion. But Eric Bischoff is still responsible for the greatest wrestling in history. And if I had to choose Eric Bischoff or Vince McMahon to work with, this is going to sound crazy to some people, I would choose Eric Bischoff, because at the end of the day, there's nothing better than what Bischoff produced in WCW. And with if Bischoff has the resources and the focus, he beat Vince McMahon with the resources and the focus. So anyway, let's play some WrestleMania 2000. This is a really good game. Very similar to Revenge, except it's got the WWF guys. Sadly, that means no official Hulk Hogan, no Sting, but with the creative player mode, you can make wrestlers with their movesets and get them to look pretty close. So without further ado, let's get on to playing some WrestleMania 2000, and let's have some fun. So we'll set the camera up. The horrible anticipation I have knowing that at some point tonight we're going to be playing WCW Backstage Assault. So for as much as I stick up for WCW, there is no defending that game. That is a piece of crap. We might need to blow on this cartridge or clean it. Yep. Alright. I know they say not to blow on cartridges, but it really is the most effective. Yep, there we go. Let's hit the lights. This game, I will tell you, probably has the best opening I've seen in a wrestling game. So, I'm not a Steve Austin fan at all. So, obviously Steve Austin is the main character in this drama here. So I made Steve Austin the ringmaster, which isn't necessarily like a diss on Steve Austin. It's just that I remembered Steve Austin before the Stone Cold character. So it was kind of like, now all of a sudden you're this like Texas redneck badass. Like, I remember you as the Hollywood blonde, pretty boy heel, and I also remembered him as Ted DiBiase's guy, the ringmaster. So I put him as his true self, the ringmaster. So they actually did some really interesting writing but then it kind of went nowhere. But Russo was just so good at giving everyone on the roster something to do. So that made the product very entertaining. But kind of the story was that, The Undertaker really started to become his character and started being this, he made this, super evil NWO knockoff, basically, called the Ministry of Darkness. And, he kidnapped Stephanie McMahon, and Vince had to plead with his mortal enemy, Steve Austin, to help him. And it was actually some really interesting writing, and then it kind of went nowhere. Vince was really behind the kidnapping, and it was what? I don't know, it was stupid. But, yeah, I don't know, that's the thing. It's WWF, I don't think the Attitude Era stuff, in my opinion, was as good as Nitro at its best. And I don't think it's aged as well either. HBK is super cool. This opening is fantastic, though. And, the fact that wrestling at this point in time was so insanely good can't be understated enough. I do remember one time I went to Saratoga with my cousins, and they were WWF over WCW guys. And so they just watched WWF from start to finish, and I was kind of like, can we put Nitro on? But it was still great. I still loved it, Yeah, it does. WWF, even though it wasn't my favorite, it was still damn good. So, Exhibition. So pretty much just have everything that Revenge has and a little bit more. So, let's go to Raw is War. Non-title match. So, this was my attempt at making Hulk Hogan. So, it's basically Hulk Hogan with hair. But his moves are all there. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, this is the deal here. You can, make your own companies and stables. So, this is really cool. I made Hulk Hogan. This is WCW. Hulk Hogan. Chris Jericho. Sting. British Bulldog. So some of these guys are legit in this game, and other ones I've made. Because remember, I told you the mid-card, upper mid-card all kind of defected, as Bischoff was winding down. Jeff Jarrett, stunning Steve Austin. So this is WCW. Then we've got the WWF. This is the new generation, pretty much. We have the Ringmaster, Steve Austin. Kane. No, this is Attitude Era. Kane, Ken Shamrock, Mankind, Dude Love, Stone Cold, and Andre the Giant, who I made. And then we've got the Ministry of Darkness. Now, the really great thing about this game is they were actually able to get FMV, which is pretty ridiculous for an N64 game. I made the Nation of Domination, ECW. I even put Steve Austin, the Steve-O-Maniac I gave him, Hulk Hogan's ear cup thing. Corporation. The NWO. So, you could get all the mannerisms and stuff, but the characters would just look a little weird. But you can tell who they are, but I don't know. It is what it is. So we got DX. Alright, so will be Hulk Hogan. Actually, hold on. Wait, let's, sorry, I messed up there. I'm trying to figure out how to change Hulk's outfit here. I think it's down, right? How do you change their outfit? There we go. That one looks cooler. And we'll have Hulk Hogan fight Shawn Michaels. And they will have their rematch. Now, at the time, Pat Patterson and Briscoe were coming out to Hulk Hogan's music for some reason. I don't know why. And so they have that music in this game. And now Hulk was negotiating to potentially go back to WWF, but, you know, his loyalties lay in WCW. Plus, they were offering him a ton of money. And he and Bischoff were really tight. Ichiban. So I really, really liked the Run DMC DX. I thought that was a great intro for D-Generation X. So Shawn Michaels was physically in some rough shape here. Fireworks are going crazy, haha. Yes, I can hear them. Now I can hear them. So it wasn't really until... what was it, like 05? No, 03. That HBK came back. No, maybe it was 02. No, it would have been 02 because WrestleMania 18 was when I was a senior, and I graduated in 02, and they tried to bring Shawn Michaels into the NWO, and that was really how he came back. So, I mean, on paper that sounded cool, but the formula of the NWO just works best with Hogan at the helm. So we've swapped Pee Wee Anderson for Earl Hebner, who screwed Brett. Whereas Vince will tell you Brett screwed Brett. Camel clutch here. I did spend a lot of time making these wrestlers, trying to get them as close looking to the WCW guys as I could. Ichiban. Yeah, I mean, it would have been interesting if Shawn Michaels went to... Alright, Hulk Hogan taking out Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in one night with early submissions. If Shawn Michaels went to WCW, they definitely could have done a lot with him. They could have paired him with and against Nash. They could have paired him with and against Hogan. You know, there's definitely a lot more to do with him in WCW than Bret Hart, which is why Vince McMahon, I think, was... like, structurally, it was a harder fit for Bret Hart in WCW than Shawn Michaels. But, yeah, Shawn Michaels definitely not as good as Hogan, but as a performer, he's probably the most well-rounded in professional wrestling. So that's WrestleMania 2000. There is a whole story mode here, the Road to WrestleMania. Let's check a little bit of this out here. Hulk Hogan versus Thrasher. So I'll just do an extra match here. Then we'll check out some of the other games we have on deck. I gotta tell you, it's impressive that the N64 was able to get vocal themes on it. The Super Nintendo could do that as well. Tales of Fantasia, legit has a J-pop opening. So they're doing their best to get the Titantron. So the headbangers here, they were trying to be like positive Marilyn Manson fans. I don't know, people like Marilyn Manson and Howard Stern and South Park. Like, I just never really got into them because it was just a lot of shock humor. You know, it was just like I don't like shock for the sake of shock. You know, and there's also kind of an elitist tinge to those people too. There's this kind of like I'm better than you kind of vibe. So never really dug any of those things from this time period, but they definitely had a really big impact on the culture. So that's definitely coming through in professional wrestling, which is all about taking the culture and turning it into a comic book. They went on for 40 minutes. That's surprising. Yeah. Definitely the crowd is getting more detailed. I mean, everything about this game is just a little bit more polished than Revenge. But again, Revenge, for me, it's just a nice, simple, cool as hell wrestling game with the best wrestlers in the history of wrestling. So time for our special move here. So this is what Hulk used to beat Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3. We're gonna run in here. Cactus Jack, alright. So this was a feature that actually started in Revenge, was to have these run-ins. And again, Cactus Jack actually is from... he actually went to Cortland State. So he is something of a local hero, actually. In fact, when he was in TNA, I kind of haphazardly made a Cortland sign and showed it to him in the crowd, and he pointed and was happy, so... Because we are both Red Dragons. He actually had a sign at the local diner that he had a picture that he had autographed. But last time I went in there, it wasn't there anymore, so I don't know what happened to it. But I'm beating him at his own game here by pummeling him with these steps. I should get back in the ring. I didn't know if they're doing this Japanese style or American style, because the Japanese style would be a 20 count. What did I have for dinner? I had Chinese food. I had steamed chicken, mixed vegetables, and a shrimp egg roll, and it was fantastic. I actually got it shortly after coming back from the gym. I train by myself in a gym, and it's actually very, very peaceful and relaxing. I enjoy it very much. So I was pretty hungry because I just do a lot of boxing drills there, and so I came back. I was hungry, had some Chinese food, then I had some ice cream, I made some coffee. Now I'm talking to you guys, playing wrestling games on the N64. Cactus Jack, bang, yep. Oh, what diner? Frank and Mary's. So you can see that I kind of glanced at the screen. What diner? Frank and Mary's. So back when I used to, when I was single, and my friends would go out, we'd like Frank and Mary's was like the one place that was open all night, and just it's like, I mean, I never got like drunk or anything like that. I'd have like one or two drinks, you know, and then it would be like, okay, now I'm gonna force feed myself an omelet at 1:30 in the morning, you know, because like this is what it was. But yeah, and it was a good time. Force feeding yourself an omelet at 1:45 a.m. on a Friday night. But it does kind of clear your head, I guess. All right, we won that match. Ooh, the wife is making her way down the stairs. Alright, so I think we have a nice sampling of WWF WrestleMania 2000. So let's all listen to Hulk Hogan's victory music as we grab the next game on deck here, which is actually going to be a game that many regard as the greatest wrestling game ever made. I do not agree because I don't really like its look and feel. But it's going to be WrestleMania. It's going to be WWF No Mercy. So, right. So rather than switch the camera around, I'm just going to leave it here and pop this in. And it looks like this game will also need some either cleaning or blowing. Am I going to have to bust out the Q-tips here? This might be a thing. Might be going on a field trip, guys. It's another reason why it's not the best wrestling game. It doesn't work. All right, one more time, and then we're getting the Q-tips here. Did I get it? Yep. All right. Yeah, I know that Def Jam Vendetta was made by Aki Asmik, so I need to check that game out. Rumor has it that there was going to be another Aki Asmik wrestling game that was either going to be WCW or WWF, but it just never materialized after this game. This game has a nice opening, though. My ears aren't bad. My wife. So this really was like WWF's high point because, you know, they had really built up their brand, you know, really building on a lot of the creative ideas of NWO and ECW. And then, after kind of cultivating their fan base, just kind of riding that formula. And, by 2002, things were already on a downward spiral for them. But it was still good. And it was on a downward spiral, not in the sense that the quality of the product wasn't good. It was just like they had lost their... I don't know. They'd lost a lot of their fans. Let's do WrestleMania. Graphics are great on this game. Music sucks, though, in my opinion. Alright, we're going to be Kurt Angle. He was always my favorite WWF guy. China, Eddie Guerrero, Taz. So X-Pac. Yeah, I love Kurt Angle's music. The thing I liked about Kurt Angle was that I liked his over-the-top goody-two-shoes persona and the cesspool that was WWF Attitude. X-Pac. X-Pac and Tori. I actually almost want to fire up the iMac and put on Run DMC. Put on the King of Rock. Although, if we somehow got a copyright thing for playing WCW Mayhem, but I think a lot of that was because we were talking about a certain video game involving a golf club. And it's been heavily rumored that stuff that gets kind of super negative about that game gets targeted. But I can't prove it. I don't know. Again, the music in this game is, I think, pretty subpar, but the graphics and gameplay are freaking amazing. As far as I'm concerned, wrestling games never should have abandoned this formula. Because nothing else, in my opinion, has ever been as good. Six-Pac is another guy that the WCW never should have let go. I mean, I did my super move there. I don't know why it wasn't registering. Come on. Alright, there we go. I actually had to meet Kurt Angle. He was super nice. Alright, well, there's that. Alright, victory. Good freaking deal. Kurt Angle really needs to either go back to Impact Wrestling or go to AEW, because it's clear the WWF doesn't respect him, and he's not even working for them right now. I mean, I think they might have paid for some of his drug treatment, which is, I mean, goes. But creatively, they don't respect him. I think they respect him as a human being. All right, we'll quit. We'll do another match on here, and then we'll go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the gutter in just a second here. Exhibition again. Do a tag match. One player and all right, whatever. This is supposed to be the right one. Why don't we be Chris Jericho and we'll fight The Rock. Oh no, we'll be the team of Chris Jericho and The Rock, and we'll fight Steve Austin and tempted to fight China and Tori. We'll mix it up here. Jericho had great WWF entrances. Again, really nice work getting the samples, the audio samples, the MP3 samples. But it does feel like the theme music on this game is a bit shorter for the wrestlers than in WrestleMania 2000. That could be my imagination, but it definitely seems like we're getting shorter music here. Yeah, DX at this point, this was like DX 2000. It was like Stephanie McMahon, Tori, Triple H, X-Pac, and Road Dogg. So Jericho pretty much plays the same as he does in the WCW games. We're going to take on Steve Austin here. Again, you got to respect all Steve Austin has done. But at the same time, again, compared to a character like Hollywood Hogan, I just think as a character, he's more shallow. If you want to see some good shoot interviews, I recommend listening to Bad News Brown's shoot interviews. Bad News Brown is often compared to Steve Austin. So just go on YouTube and Google those. So once again, when that red meter starts going all the way, so it's kind of going crazy like that, it's your cue to hit the analog stick and do more of the taunting, which will then get you a super move, like I've got right now. Come on. Get up, get up, get up. So we did get it. It's going to probably go to the No, it's like a series of... It's like a double power bomb. Oh, no, there it is, line tamer. Jericho's very good on AEW Dynamite. Great to see him return to form on TNT. I do think that Vince Russo does deserve a lot of credit for the creative quality in the Attitude Era. I think so many people just hate him. They just want to act like he did nothing good anywhere ever. Come on. I've seen people make a lot of good mods for this game, which is cool. You know, like they're trying, like they really love the fighting engine here, so they're trying to, you know, do things like update the graphics, incorporate other deeper stories. Excuse me for yawning. I don't know. I'm a little like, I feel like I'm almost like getting burned out on this game here. It's like it's really good, but I have played a lot of this type of game here, and I don't know. Like the music and the graphics are just, in my opinion, not as charming as its predecessors. But again, graphics and gameplay are incredibly solid. I mean, many people regard this as the greatest wrestling game ever made. And while I might disagree with them, I can see their point. Steve Austin, not a fan of taking pile drivers. See if I can get my special on him here. So if I can do that, then this game is over here. At least for old Steve-O. There we go. Special time. Time for a double power bomb into the Lion Tamer. Rock is running defense here. Come on, will you tap out? Ugh. Well, he took the damage, though, so that's good. Sorry if I'm not being super talkative. Just focusing on the various aspects of the match here. I am also a bit tired, so... The coffee I made was half calf, so... No, actually, it was all decaf. Shut my mouth. Steve Austin and Tori, that would have been some interesting booking. Alright, come on. We're just gonna go for a pin here. Where's my pin, man? Gonna do some Muay Thai. I hit Tori there. I wish there was some videos of Eric Bischoff fighting. I wanted to see him in like a martial arts tournament. I was listening to Jim Cornette the other day, and Jim Cornette's got some interesting takes on things, but it's like being like a real jerk to Eric Bischoff, and Cornette's like just jerky nature just makes him like, even though he can be a pretty smart guy, it's just his emotional volatility always seems to kind of drive people away. Can we end this here? Come on. Come on. This should do it. Come on, rock, 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 rock. There we go, we got him. Yeah. Break the walls down. Okay, guys, so that right there is the really good games on the Nintendo 64. Let's take a brief break because I'm getting a little tired. But I do want to play at least one more game, probably two more games, just because I do have some interesting titles to explore on the N64. So what should we get for our snack here? Oh, I have just the thing for a late night snack. Oh yeah. Let's keep it a necessity that I go to the gym. So hopefully you all out there are enjoying the stream. Playing some N64 wrestling games. Good time is being had by all, at least by me. Okay, what do you say? Okay. What are you saying? Rogue Drums? Yes, go get the. So yeah, you talked to me about using Q-tips. Is the asterisks? Are you saying I need an asterisk next to my performance in WWF No Mercy? I'm not cheating. I do have a Game Shark, but it's not working for some reason, which is kind of lame. Because I actually ordered Goemon on a Japanese N64 cart, and it's not working. Because a Game Shark can actually work as a apparently it can work as a method to play import games. So one story that I've been following, on the whole like kind of YouTube gossip scene. Oh, zebra cakes are the shit. Yeah, absolutely. Right on. And they are. Or the ish, if as the young people say. My wife got these by accident because she did an order at Walmart and they gave her these by mistake. But their mistake is our blessing. You know what they say? There are no mistakes. There are only happy accidents. And you know who says that? This Bob Ross Chia Pet. Stunning. All right. All right. So, like I was saying, many regard WWF No Mercy to be the greatest wrestling game of all time. I don't, but it's definitely one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. But undoubtedly, I get this zebra cake unstuck. The worst wrestling game of all time, I would have to say, is WCW Backstage Assault. It's actually really funny because Backstage Assault came out at a time when WCW was on the verge of going out of business. and WWF was flying high. That game, No Mercy, reflects WWF's success, and Backstage Assault reflects WCW's increasingly bad problems. And on the N64, the game is has very little in the way of redeeming quality. In the wind, break the walls down. Alright, let's set up our camera here. Do you have any more coffee? 1 second. No, I drank it. It's whatever is here. So, alright. Talk about G Fuel. Got like freaking zebra cake fuel here. All right. One more. I don't have a problem. You have the problem. All right. We're going to go play some WCW Backstage Assault. May the Lord have mercy on us all. Alright. Pop out No Mercy. Pop in Backstage Assault. See if this works. Of course it doesn't. There we go. I'm gonna hit the lights. We'll play some of this. All right, I'm back. All right. So, the weird thing about this game, it looks a little better on the Nintendo 64 than on the PlayStation. But the proportions on these guys are really weird. They have like small feet and huge shoulders, and I don't know, they've got this weird stylized look that is a lot worse, in my opinion, than how Mayhem looked, because Mayhem looked very photorealistic, and it's good stuff. All right, exhibition match, 1 player. And here's the garbled mess of a select screen that this game has here. So we have Jeff Jarrett, a bunch of question marks, and Torrie Wilson. This is the face of WCW at the time. David Flair, Booker T, a.k.a. G.I. Bro, Sting, we got the Rumby Hogan, and we will fight Jimmy Hart. Doug Dillinger. Alright, we will fight Major Guns. There we go. This is Hulk's greatest challenge. Okay. Okay, so this again came out at a time when they had this idea to make Hulk Hogan kind of more of a trying to make Hogan look like more badass. Although I don't know, I think Hulk looked pretty damn badass when he was Hollywood Hogan. So press start to continue. This looks absolutely nothing like Hulk Hogan. So this looks like some dude at a biker bar here. This literally is a fight at a dive bar. That is what this game is. Just getting beat up by some scantily dressed woman who probably, has had too much to drink and spends a lot of time at the jukebox. But she definitely seems to be a force to be reckoned with here. As she appears to be giving Hulk Hogan a little bit of trouble. Gameplay here is like a not smooth version of the Akiasmic games. And this game is an ugly game. The wrestlers have gone from looking just like who they're supposed to be, with the best the 64 32-bit has to offer to this, which is this guy doesn't look at all like Hulk Hogan. The Hogans I made in the WWF games were better than this. And this is a WCW licensed game. How do I pin? And let's not bring the surgical 2x4 into play. Bro, how do I pin? Come on, come on. Yeah, what the heck? Let's quit with the 2x4. It's a sport of honor. There are no apologies, man, woman, or child. If they wanted to, I don't know, man. If they wanted to do like backstage assault, they could, I don't know, like gotten like Namco to make a game. You could have like a ring out type thing. Okay, how do I pin? It's not down C. That just turns her over. Like dropping the ground. Skipping. Man, why does this game gotta be so complicated? That me doing the chicken dance is me trying to land a grapple on this girl. Well, the pin button is R1. Or R shoulder. Come on, come on. That's that. Alright, I think we've seen enough of this game. That's WCW Backstage Assault. It's not good. It's not fun for the whole family. Alright, I'm actually getting really tired, even though it's fairly early. But before we knock off, I did want to do at least one more game. And we can definitely revisit other games in this library in the near future. So let's check out ECW, The Hardcore Revolution. Paul Heyman, interesting guy. He knows how to bring out the best in his athletes. He also knows how to not pay his athletes, because he's a bit of a con man sleazeball, but he loves pro wrestling and is good at booking it. Here we go. Here's Hardcore Revolution. So the way these games went was WCW had Aki Asmik, WWF had Acclaim, and ECW had nobody. What ended up happening was apparently Bischoff brokered a deal with Electronic Arts, meaning that N64 style wrestling went to the WWF. And then once that started to become more defined as a, as an institution, I'm losing track of what I'm saying because I'm getting tired. Let's just play some Hardcore Revolution here. All right. Looks like we're gonna need more cartridge blowing here. Yeah, that didn't do it. Still no. This game was filthy. I think what I was saying was that ECW ultimately landed a television deal on the Nashville network, and Paul Heyman just, I don't know, he could really inspire his talent, but he was out for himself and wanted to make a lot of money, or as much money as he could, and if that meant, not paying talent, it meant not paying talent, If I make a lot of money, I don't mean necessarily just for him, but for his company, which he's kind of in over his head in because he's got too many, debts and scams. But that's just my take as an outsider. Come on, ECW Hardcore Revolution. If this doesn't work, I'm going to pop in another game. Nah, it didn't work. We might have to go get the Q-tips. Or we might just play a different game. Nope, nada. Alright. Well, then, we can try. See if this works. A lot of these games are just dusty because they bought them at a flea market. There we go. Q-tip time. Every time you say that, that must be the thing to get it to work. Yeah, I don't care about the rumble pack. Let's just play. So, again, this is more 1998 WCW. The PlayStation version of this game, in my opinion, was better because it had great cutscenes, full motion video, music videos. This game I can tell has nicer graphics in the PlayStation version, but I can already tell it's definitely going to be an inferior version due to the lack of bells and whistles because of the technological limitations of the N64. But good for them for getting the Nitro theme in here. Alright, there's our controls here. So the credits here, they're pretty much trying to do what the PlayStation did, but with still images. Okay, so it is what it is. Now, in the PlayStation version, these characters can talk. We got the sold out ring here. Right, almost lost to Saturn right off the bat. Music in this game is weird. Man. I'm gonna keep almost losing. Actually, my WCW versus NWO Revenge actually came with a poster for this game, which I actually still have, but it's tucked away somewhere. Alright, well, that was a shame. Well, guys, on that note, I think we're just going to wrap things up because I'm getting fairly tired. No problem because the games are saying, no, not the Q-tips. Anything but the Q-tips. So, gang, a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, but we streamed so late last night that I didn't want to kind of stream a bit earlier so that there would be, just more accessibility to the stream. So, but once again, I always really, 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 really appreciate you guys for stopping by and listening to me talk and present things that I enjoy. I appreciate your friendship and your presence. So, right on. Good night, my friend. And, if you do, get some Zennies, let me know how you like them, because I like these very much. Thank you, Arrow. I will see you soon. Definitely more videos on the channel coming. We're going to be doing... I keep saying that we're going to do this. This is definitely happening in the very near future. It is the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad VHS tape. So I'm going to be reviewing this in the next day or two. I'd like to probably do a video game review or two, either solo or with Santino. I am working on a manga right now. I've got 2 pages done for the most part. Actually, I got like 1 3/4 and a half. I got 1 80% done. So, thank you, Diego, as well. Cool. Well, you guys can, get a little bit more rest than normal, right? Usually we're streaming until like 2 in the morning. But for whatever reason, I'm just feeling a little extra tired. Happy 4th of July. We'll definitely do another stream in the very near future. So, I like doing these too. So, and I appreciate you guys, hanging in there and stopping by. So, cool. All right, gang. Happy 4th, and I will see you in the very near future for more YouTube video and streaming fun. Bye-bye.